what to avoid, and how to operate efficiently and securely in the GovCloud partition. So let's get started. Here's what we will cover today. We will begin with a look at AWS GovCloud compliance posture and isolation model. Then we will discuss the key migration strategies and some notable differences from commercial AWS regions. After that, I will walk through key best practices, monitoring capabilities, infrastructure as a code options, and finally, we will close with a deep dive into common technical and non-technical challenges. As you will see, this is a massive topic. We won't cover every edge case, but the goal is to give you an overview and understanding key principles. So, AWS GovCloud exists for the customers with elevated compliance needs like defense, aerospace, federal contractors, and critical infrastructure operators. It's physically and logically isolated from other AWS partitions. Only US citizens can manage resources, and operation occur only on US soil. It uses separate endpoints and IAM partitions. Many services inherit security controls, but customers must configure several controls manually. AWS GovCloud is not just another region, its own partition with own rules. Here is a snapshot of the compliance standards covered in GovCloud. The most critical are FedRAMP High and FIPS that covered in AWS GovCloud only. These certifications mean that GovCloud is suitable for sensitive and regulated workloads, but also that customers must adhere to strict design and operational constraints. You are not automatically compliant just by using AWS GovCloud. The implementation details still matter. Now, let's ground this in reality. AWS GovCloud has notable service gaps. For example, you will find CloudFront, AWS Shield Advanced, or some marketplace products are missing. You also get unique IAM challenges due to dual partition federation. Role assumptions between partitions are not trivial and can break pipelines. VPC endpoints are limited. Global services and replication don't always work. The S3 and RDS snapshots cannot cross between partitions. This forces re-architecture. These examples illustrate why careful planning is essential. The AWS shared responsibility model still applies, but in the GovCloud context, you will own even more of the security and compliance responsibility. For example, while AWS secures the data center, you must ensure IAM logging and encryption configurations are audit-ready, especially under FedRAMP High audit. Let's talk about differences between AWS commercial accounts and AWS GovCloud in terms of AWS service usage. Let's start to talk about VPC limitations. You will notice that the lack of VPC features in the AWS GovCloud. Some of them are not supported. Regarding Kubernetes in GovCloud, you should know that no forget support is there. Managed Prometheus is absent as well. The S3 CSI driver is unsupported in GovCloud. That breaks common EKS storage practices. Observability tools like EKS Upgrade Insights are not available. You will need workloads. You will need to set up another workloads and third-party tooling. RDS service has major constraints: no cross-region replication and snapshot copy. Multi-AZ clusters are unavailable, however, multi-AZ instances are. And some other RDS features are missing in GovCloud. So you need to be prepared for GovCloud deployment firstly. In short, there are two different worlds, two different accounts, two different regions, and different services and tooling. And finally, there are a lot of differences for most core AWS services mentioned in AWS documentation. Please refer to it before proceeding with migration to the AWS GovCloud. Let's talk about the migration to AWS GovCloud. As you can see, the migration should be prepared firstly, well designed and performed in very strict manner. In this case, we can rely on the standard AWS strategies regarding that. But before that, we need to be clear and answer on the following questions, like how much things am I migrating? Or which tools and techniques should I use to be migrated? And others. Most of those questions are challenging for the client, and we need to be careful and give clear answers for them. I can tell that this is something like discovery and planning stage of SDLC process. There are 7 core migration strategies: refactor, rehost, replatform, relocate, retain, retire. Which path you choose depends on regulatory requirements, engineering capacity, and business goals. You must analyze performance, dependencies, SLAs, and knowledge before deciding. And definitely, the level of effort is different for each migration strategy and can affect the project timelines and the final deadline for migration. As I mentioned, always begin with a comprehensive discovery phase. Catalog your systems, your services, gather required data, understand needed knowledge. Build a full picture of what you're going to migrate, like infrastructure, applications, interconnections, dependencies, and so on. Without this, you cannot make informed strategy choices. Also, based on IT service management model, you can see the possible way of migration and needed team effort for it. For most cases, we need to migrate user data as well. In this case, we need to rely on AWS services and tools that helps to achieve each specific migration. AWS GovCloud compatible tooling includes AWS Database Migration Service, Application Migration Service, Snowball Edge, Direct Connect, and others. Tool selection depends on workload size, latency tolerance, and RPO and RTO. Offline bulk migration is often necessary. But sometimes we can build an environment from scratch in AWS GovCloud just to onboard new customers and users to the compliant platform. For this case, we can avoid a huge part of migration called as data migration. We just need to spin up infrastructure then compatible with AWS GovCloud. So just to prepare compatible infrastructure as a code for the AWS GovCloud deployments. As of April 2025, AWS CloudWatch supports cross-account observability. So game changer, and now you can aggregate metrics, logs, and traces across AWS GovCloud accounts. Also, for monitoring purposes, you can use SaaS tools like Splunk that are compatible with FedRAMP High and Datadog that are compatible with FedRAMP Moderate compliance. And definitely, you can use self-hosted third parties deployed in AWS GovCloud boundary by using AWS Marketplace. But the standard monitoring is not enough for AWS GovCloud, and especially for the audits that is needed to be completed by using AWS GovCloud environment. For the federal audits, we need to monitor a lot of things related to infrastructure, like unauthorized network access or unauthorized infrastructure changes and others. That can be achieved by using other tools based on some different strategies. I will talk about that later. Let's talk about AWS best practices. And for this slide and for this item, I will rely on the standard AWS best practices that mostly applicable for AWS GovCloud. But the focus is on governance, identity, logging, and cost. And AWS advice to use AWS Config, Security Hub, Trusted Advisor, and AWS CloudFormation to enforce standards. And definitely we need to implement least privilege EAM policies and always take AWS resources for visibility and cost tracking. The landing zone accelerator on AWS is architected to align with AWS best practices and with multiple global compliance frameworks. AWS recommend customers deploy AWS Control Tower as the foundational landing zone and enhance their landing zone capabilities with landing zone accelerator. AWS GovCloud does not support Control Tower, but AWS Landing Zone Accelerator is your best alternative for this. Also, as alternative, the Control Tower can be used on AWS commercial accounts under AWS organization. Use AWS CloudFormation templates or CDK packages to bootstrap compliant, secure, multi-account environments. And to highlight, I need to highlight that the mentioned AWS Landing Zone Accelerator service or framework based on and solution based on it is the best practice for GovCloud deployments based on AWS documentation. We can start to discover this possibility firstly during discovery and planning stages of migration. Here you can see some capabilities, how it works by using AWS Landing Zone Accelerator with AWS Control Tower integration. And definitely this is an automated infrastructure as a code solution based on AWS CloudFormation that helps customers rapidly deploy a secure, compliant, and multi-account AWS GovCloud environment. This architecture includes core elements: centralized logging, shared services, security tooling, and organizational organizations for isolation. Use separate accounts for dev, test, and prod environments. Ensure VPCs, EAM roles, and audit tooling are scoped correctly. Here is some first steps how to start to use provided AWS best practice by using AWS Landing Zone Accelerator. And definitely the standard activities are required. So you need to know the estimated cost, the predicted cost, to know security considerations, to know and to plan quotas for solution. Here we have another type of AWS shared responsibility model in comparison with using AWS compliant framework as known as AWS Landing Zone Accelerator. It's a great chance to compare those areas and what should be done by client if we will not choose Landing Zone Accelerator for our infrastructure. And regarding AWS Landing Zone usage, AWS gets you approximately 60% of security controls for the compliance audits. The rest of them is the client responsibility. You must implement IAM, configure logging, design for disaster recovery, and to be sure that you establish secure CI/CD process. Here I mentioned several AWS services under AWS Landing Zone umbrella and key nodes for them that can help to achieve needed requirements in AWS GovCloud for the compliance audits. AWS config helps to extend continuous monitoring and continuously evaluates AWS resource configurations for desired settings that needed to cover for audits in AWS GovCloud account. AWS Security Hub aggregates security alerts from various AWS services. And finally, the AWS Artifact is a great place for auditors to get AWS report and based on it, audit entire infrastructure to be compliant. And very interesting item of presentation is related to infrastructure as a code. As we covered early, the AWS GovCloud account is needed to achieve some compliance standards like FedRAMP High and others. And especially for FedRAMP High, SaaS-based infrastructure as a code tools is mostly disallowed. Terraform Cloud, GitHub Actions, and other SaaS tooling is not usable in FedRAMP High context, which is common standard compliance for the AWS GovCloud usage. Based on this, you need to be fully deployed in AWS GovCloud boundary for infrastructure as a code, CI/CD process for it, and other support tools. We can use AWS-specific CI/CD services or build our own services in GovCloud boundary, like self-hosted GitLab and self-hosted Artifactory solution on AWS GovCloud for executing CI/CD pipelines and storing artifacts as it is needed. So you need to keep all logs, artifacts, and audit trails inside the boundary. This is a requirement to cover compliance controls. So in this slide, I highlighted that the common challenge can have several mitigation solutions. One of them is described on the slide, like using AWS native services in GovCloud boundary. In a case when your infrastructure as a code is based on Terraform, then you need to establish as much as possible security-based prevention for it. I suggest to use tools like TFSec, Trivia, Checkoff, SimGrip, InfraCost to automate security, compliance, and cost visibility. Recommit hooks and testing frameworks like TerraTest are essential as well. Here I provided some tools that can be used for this purpose. We can utilize TerraGrant features as well, but in terms of security needs, this tool is not essential. And the question, why is this required for the AWS GovCloud migration? It's a great question, and I can answer. And the answer is simple. We need to establish a good enough infrastructure as a code process to be compatible with AWS GovCloud restrictions. It means that we can use Terraform-related tools to configure different policies and apply them before deployments just to prevent any issues in production. Another thing is related to the security guardrails for infrastructure as a code and for AWS resources itself that is applicable for our required compliance audit that needs to be achieved by established migration process to AWS GovCloud. And finally, I can call these activities as another challenge that can be happened in case of migration. Let's talk about technical and not technical challenges more deeply. I mentioned only several of them. The complete list of challenges depends on the current state as you have now and the business needs that you would like to achieve. The first challenge is related to AWS partitions. Here is a difference between AWS commercial accounts and AWS GovCloud. To mitigate this, we need to parameterize all our infrastructure as a code to have ability for deployments in different AWS accounts as well as AWS GovCloud accounts. Another challenge is related to third-party services that you use for your current infrastructure that needs to be migrated to the AWS GovCloud. It can be Nginx, Elasticsearch, MongoDB, and others. AWS suggests to use AWS Marketplace in AWS GovCloud to have ability to deploy those third parties. So you need to migrate your current solution to utilize this feature. In this case, the infrastructure as a code should be changed to reuse the existing artifacts in AWS Marketplace. Another way for this case can be to reuse the same approach as it is, but the Artifactory lake should be in AWS GovCloud boundary and scan it periodically for any security issues. Sometimes it can be overhead if you don't have CI/CD solution in GovCloud boundary, and it should be designed and deployed firstly. Also, we have some US-based challenges, like AWS GovCloud regions should be supported by US citizens from the client and from the AWS vendor as well. Account holder must be US citizen, and everything should be based on US soil. There are no possibilities to somehow mitigate this, just to be flexible and work based on the mentioned requirements. Also, I mentioned here other architecture-related challenges that might have some mitigation. For most cases, it requires to establish a good enough communication process with AWS-based architects or with internal architects from the platform teams. And definitely, as I mentioned before, there is a challenge that related to the differences for AWS services and features that deployed in AWS Commercial and AWS GovCloud. We need to establish some architecture work for infrastructure as a code and for AWS resources itself. Here are some references on AWS-based documentation. Use them extensively. That's it from my side. And I would like to hear your questions. Feel free to ask about the topic. I'm not sure that I cover a lot, since the topic is huge and probably covers all architecture strategies over AWS Cloud. And finally, one note from my side. As I mentioned, I have some experience with AWS GovCloud, but with very limited permissions and authority, because I'm not US-based engineer. That's why it happened. So in this case, probably I cannot cover a lot of things based on my experience, but I will try. So please.
Yeah, first of all, Serhii, thank you so much for this interesting presentation. I know this topic is not a light work because a few months ago I prepared something about FedRAMP standards. So yeah, that's a really nice presentation. Thank you once again. And I want to ask you how you guys handle different artifacts for different environments. So how you handle releases, versions between commercial and GovCloud environment, if you have such experience.
Yeah, the strategy is to have promotion between AWS Commercial and AWS GovCloud. So the process should be like to establish some promotion process from AWS Commercial accounts for artifacts to be used in AWS GovCloud account. It means that we need to have some access for pull model from AWS GovCloud to AWS Commercial account, and just to pull artifacts from the AWS Commercial account.
So are you using like one pipeline for that, or a few pipelines?
Just for now, we have a lot of pipelines, and I'm not ready to answer on this because there are different solutions and different things can be achieved by using those pipelines.
Yeah, okay, thank you.